going to be doing skill number 4. This is assisting a client with the bedpan and hand washing. This is the way that Headmaster wants you to do the skill at state, and you need to hit all of the steps so you'll be able to pass your skill at state. Here we go. We're going to start. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, Terry. I'm Misty. I'm going to be your CNA today. So I'm going to help you use the bedpan, okay? So what I've done is I've cleaned my hands. I'm going to go get your supplies and I'll be right back. So what I would need is to come over and gather a bedpan. We'll need a couple of washcloths. We'll need a graduate cylinder to measure his output when we're done. Knock, knock. Okay, Terry, we're back. I have your bedpan here. So we're going to place this somewhere with a barrier so it doesn't get anything dirty. Pull the privacy curtain. Put on your gloves. And because we're going to be raising the bed with our patient on it, we're going to go ahead and check the bed breaks. All right, Tara, I'm going to raise your bed up. So at state, you're going to have a patient that can either raise their hips or turn over to the side. All right, so we're going to assume that our patient is able to turn over to the side. If you need a bed rail to help your patient turn over to the side, be sure you raise your bed rail for them. So what we're going to do, Terry, is help you turn to the side. I'm going to raise this left leg. I'm going to help you turn. So we're going to expose this area, just what we need to expose. We're going to place our bedpan and help ease him back onto the bedpan. And then once you get the bedpan placed, because it's a mannequin, at state you'll probably have a human, but because it's a mannequin and it's really slippery, you need to check to be sure that it's placed correctly. So straighten his leg out and just check to be sure it's centered. All right, Terry. So I'm going to raise the head of your bed up. And it should be at a 90-degree angle, really hard to do with the mannequin. Just gonna give him his call bell here. You also want to check to be sure it's still placed correctly under his bottom. You might have to adjust it just a little bit. But with a human, it'll be easier to adjust it. You can just ask them to lift their hips just a little bit. All right, Terry, so I'm gonna go ahead and lower the bed. We have a trash can here that we're going to leave right at the bedside. We have some tissue. Okay, Terry, you let us know when you're ready. And I'll be back in just a minute to check on you. And you leave the room. The nurse examiner is going to tell you when the patient is ready. So we're just going to assume that they've called. Ding, ding, ding. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, Terry. Looks like you're ready to come off the bedpan. So I'm going to go ahead and get our supplies and get ready. Let me just grab your washcloths here. So I like to go ahead and wet the washcloths. So you're going to check the water, make sure it's nice and warm. You need one wet with water with soap on it, and then one wet to rinse. You might want to bring a paper towel to dry. And then you're also, actually the nurse examiner is probably going to have some water ready. So if somebody can reach their arm in when I place the, when I pull the bedpan and just pour that. Just reach your arm in. Okay, knock, 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 Terry. So what we're going to do is wash the hands. So this one's with the soap and water. So we wash the hands first because the assumption is that he has wiped his bottom. So this has been washed. He only has one hand, guys. Now we're gonna rinse. And then we can pat dry. You can use 3 washcloths, that's fine. Go ahead and throw out the extra tissue and get that out of the way. All right, Terry. So this skill, even though it's not labeled that way, does require recording your output. So you might have a nurse examiner standing right next to you with some fluid to pour into the bedpan as you pull it out. So you kind of have to figure out how to manipulate that without spilling or recontaminating. All right, Terry, I'm going to lower the head of your bed a little bit so we can get this bedpan out. Or they might wait until you've gone over to the sink and toilet area to empty it. Okay, Terry. So he's either going to be able to lift his hips or turn to the side to get the bedpan out. And what we're going to do is have our patient turn to the side. So you want to be sure you get a good grip on that bedpan so it doesn't pull out and your patient would turn a little bit. If you need help, the nurse examiner will help you. So I have this bedpan here in my hand, and our nurse examiner is actually going to pour the water in. Thank you. So we'll just assume that they poured it in while I'm standing here and it's nice and warm, very lifelike. So I already have this hand, it's free now, but I didn't contaminate it by touching the bedpan. So I can use this hand to adjust his blankets, go ahead and lower the bed to make my patient safe before I leave the room. All right, so now my patient's safe. He's got his call bell, and now I can address his output. So I make sure that I have my cylinder, my bedpan. I'm going to empty the urine into a cylinder. It needs to be on a flat surface so you can measure it. And he's at about 200 milliliters. So this you would empty into a toilet. We have our second sink here labeled as a toilet. So we're going to empty this into our toilet. We're going to rinse our cylinder, rinse our bedpan. I like to dry the excess fluid out of it. And then these would go into your soiled utility area. At this point, state is not concerned about infection control. You will not get counted off for charting your amount right away. So before you forget, you may as well chart your amount right away. So I'm just going to write my name here. And then you would write 200, and it's already got the label of milliliters, and then you just sign. So you've already recorded your output. You make sure that your nurse examiner gets that. And then you're going to remove your gloves. Turn on your water. Wet your hands and wash. Be sure you scrub for a full 20 seconds, because if you don't, you'll fail just for hand washing alone. Be sure you get your wrists. Sometimes students are worried about their watch. Just push your watch up a little bit, and at least make the motion to go around your wrist like this, and you should be covered. Get in between your fingers, and you can say that you're going to get your fingernails by scrubbing the palms of your hands if you want, or you can make the motion of getting underneath your fingernails like this. So that way they know that you're getting all of your fingernails. And then you're going to rinse your hands. Try not to flick your fingers. I have a really bad habit of doing that. Turn your water off, throw the towel away without crumpling it, and let your patient know when you're going to be back. Okay, Terry, we'll be back to check on you in about an hour. And your skill's complete.